Hello, and welcome to None Other Than Nigel. Buckle up and get ready. For a fun-filled podcast dedicated to informative and knowledgeable topics and conversations relevant to music, TV, movies, and books. With your host, none other than Nigel. Listen and learn from industry professionals, entrepreneurs, and multi-award-winning special guests as we delve deep into in-depth discussions, ranging from topics relevant to the wonderful world of entertainment, living life on life's terms, and simply having fun.
Okay, so can you see me? What is this thing right here? Okay, get that out the way. All right, how you doing? Am I loud enough?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, great.
Happy Tuesday.
You're such a handsome damn man. I finally get to just tell you. Yeah, and you're a Capricorn too, and I want those glass frames. Okay.
Oh yeah, they hooked me up.
Yeah, they did. I'm always looking for something no one else has. Unique, and that wouldn't. I said, okay. So anyway, sorry for all the delays. I get so This is a new area for me, so well, it's kind of a revamp from back in the day. I used to do entertainment. I was an entertainment writer way back in the day before internet, and so it was done differently. And so now you get to see me. But anyway, but how you doing? Welcome. This is none other than Nigel, and today I have a very special guest, psychic medium and doctor of Chinese fertility medicine, Mr. Dexter Kendrick.
Yeah.
Did I nail it? Give it to you. Okay. And acupuncture. So tell me, how's your day going so far?
Good. I just woke up from a good nap. I was teaching earlier this morning, worked out, had a meal. So I'm in a good space, yeah. Beautiful.
I don't even want to talk about mine. But it was very much activity.
You made it, and you still made it.
Yeah, I thought I was just going to throw myself out and be like, okay, but the show must go on. So let's talk about Little Dirk. Way back in the day. Tell me anything you can tell me about him that you can, just share a little bit about Little Dirk.
Who's Little Dirk?
I mean, Little Dexter.
Oh, I'm like...
I'm going to have to edit that part out. So tell me about Little Dexter. What is wrong with, and I had wrote down Derek when I was doing my thing, and I'm like, okay, that's not right. Dexter is a better name anyway.
Yeah, you mean tell you about me as a child?
Yeah, just a little something. Give us the idea of, where
Actually, I was thinking about that not too long ago. When I was a child, I used to always be into like gadgets. Like I always had toys. Like I was born like in '82, so that's right. The advent right before technology really started to take off, and we were still dreaming about portable phones, portable watches, speaker phones, and stuff like that. So, Ninja Turtles junkie and the real Ghostbusters cartoons. Only child. Always wore glasses.
Okay, so you were only child.
Kind of nerdy.
And that means ahead of the curve, in a sense. He was interested in science, and then the fact that you're a Capricorn, that kind of helped with being comfortable being by yourself. It's more so.
I feel like the Capricorn life theme really mandates that the person have moments where they have to be by themselves to get themselves together, or pull themselves together. So either the only child, or maybe they had a single parent household, or maybe there's some level of being like a first child and giving responsibilities that are kind of adult at an early age. So there's always like some kind of lesson Capricorn has to learn about self-sufficiency, like really, really early. And identify.
Yeah, truly. And I looking back, I wish I had known that's what was happening. I probably would have been able to process a lot of things a little differently. But it seems like a heavy burden. And I always thought something was wrong with me because, I did have to have those moments. And, but then I had these intuitions or premonitions and visions. I was it was really, those type of things were happening in my life too. And I just tried to run away from that because that was scary. But I understand today, after redoing some reading and research, that it kind of comes with the territory of us, that we have these things. Now, I definitely at some point want to work with you to get a better understanding. And so that's why I have you here today. So I want to talk about how did you, at what point, was it when you were a child, or how did you come to to becoming a psychic medium, or getting in that realm? How did it start?
It started when I first had to start walking myself to the bus stop, which was about a half mile away from where I lived at age 7. And it was the first time I was going to be away from my mom. So it's right after kindergarten, right? So it's literally like, actually age 6, because kindergarten is K5. But I remember I was walking to the bus stop and I began to hear a voice, like really just coaching me on when to do the major things, crossing the street, watching out for dogs, because there was always dogs out around where I used to live at that time. Mm-hmm. And then I told my mom about it, and she said, "Oh, okay." And then I saw a funeral pamphlet sitting on her nightstand, and it was of a woman. And I said, "Who's that woman?" And she said, "Oh, that's your Aunt Irene. You never met her." And I said, "Actually, she's been helping me cross the street and do all the things that you were teaching me, to do." And she said, "Wow." And then she told my grandmother. It was my grandmother's sister. And so my grandmother said, "Just tell him, don't be afraid." So that literally was the beginning of me wanting more. When I heard I had the green light, I just wanted more. Of course, there's been training since then, right? That was raw. So all of us have psychic tendencies, but many of us don't know how to turn it on at will. And actually, we know how to turn it on at will. We just don't recognize we're doing it, and so we can't go the distance until we strengthen that muscle. Yeah.
And I did at some point do exactly what you just said. Because once I got to high school, it became more and more clear. I mean, so much so that I could predict what I would know, like when one of my good girlfriends, and I would get dressed, and we would meet at the bus stop, and we would be identically matched colors. Every day. It was like, and so I knew the colors and so I got fascinated with the colors. So then I started reading up on color magic, and I got a couple of books on that. Powerful. I can remember and little things like sitting with my great grandmother, and and I said, and then a flash would come over, and then I could see the front of the door, the entrance to the gate. I could see the front of the house. And I said, "Oh, somebody's coming." And then a few minutes later, you hear the gate open and the doorbell. And then it was with my aunt. And so it was just like a flash. And she asked me what the numbers was, and I gave her the numbers, and she went up the street and played them and won.
That's awesome.
Then she did this multiple times. And at the time, like I said, it was all, I didn't get. But anyway, one day she was walking and she had the wad in her bra of the cash she keeps with it. I said, "Can I get $5? No. I stopped giving her the numbers after that. People are crazy, but I mean, there's so much to it, and so I just don't want to be over talk. I don't want to ramble on, and because you're the professional, but my experiences have been, the most recent one was about a couple of months ago. I had a dream, and it was so real, and I was struggling. There was water. I could see the person who I thought was, but it was like a fight. And when I woke up, I couldn't see. And when but I saw my sister in the dream. And when I, later on that morning, I got a call from my sister telling me that my cousin, they found her in the hotel, and she had drowned in the bathtub. So for me, it was so eerie because it was at that time, but no one has mentioned this, what actually happened, but what I felt and saw, there was some struggling. So at that point, I just said, oh, I don't want this anymore. I don't want no more feelings coming. I don't like them. I can tell when people are passing, and sometimes it gets on me. You know what I mean? And stop me if I'm going a little too off to the right. But anyway, so let's back to you. So so I think at this point I do want to learn so that I can better understand, so that I won't be so befuddled, or how do you say, or confused. I can know it. Hey, this is you, or no, this is something else. Kind of sense.
A great way to be able to differentiate when something is yours and when it's somebody else's, like, of course, if you're in their presence, is to spend some time in solitude every day, because then you get to check out what your normal rhythms are, your baseline vibration is, right? If you're flustered over things that are already in your mind, then if it gets amplified, it typically means you're around somebody who's also, in worry or overthinking. But if you are having a calm day and you come into the presence of somebody who makes your body stiffen, or you start to feel that you need to be guarded, then that's that person's energetic. So this is why it's important to have a period of solitude every day. It doesn't have to be long, but it really should. Before you become anything for anybody else in the outside world, we really all need the ability to tune into ourselves, because otherwise, and we're coming into contact with people every day, we're carrying all kinds of emotional material that can easily jump from one person to another. You've been around people who are irritable or irritating, even at hello. You're trying to get a conversation off the ground, and they're combative and challenging, and it's like, whoa, this isn't from me. Like, you clearly were walking around with something. So those are indications of different things that if we don't have a quiet heart, so to speak, we won't know. We might think that we just became irritable and came out of character, and that's not necessarily the case.
Now, do you are you familiar with the term angels?
Yeah, absolutely.
And 2 weeks ago, they were telling me, they were dancing all around me that particular morning, and they did everything in their power to not allow me to go to this particular destination. And normally, I through caution, I listen, but this particular morning, I just was like, got there and got robbed, but got out with my life, and they got my jacket and my wallet, but I got my cell phone and my car keys, and so on the way back home, so of course I was traumatized by what happened. Called the police, all this stuff. I had to go take care of all the stuff you got to do, call Amex, call these people, blah, blah, blah. But I was traumatized. I was traumatized by that, but I was more traumatized by the fact that why didn't I listen? They really were talking to me throughout every step of the way. And I was like, what the hell? So I'm like, what was on my mind?
So, I think it's relevant to talk about how spirit guides and angels, unless an angel is speaking through another person, because angels can speak through another person. That's how somebody says something, that's a word, and you say, oh, that hit me right here, right? That's how you know a larger spirit. One of the hosts is speaking through somebody. But when somebody, like the way your heart speaks, or the way they typically speak to you directly is through your heart. So the heart is similar to a candle, right? If there's a whole bunch of noise, or if you were overexcited about whatever you were doing at this destination, that's similar to having the light on while the candle is on. You can't see, you can't hear the the volume of a candle, which is the volume of our heart. You can't hear it if there's too much going on, and it never speaks through emotion. So whenever you're getting a word about do something or don't do something, it never has a feeling behind it. It always is a word that is typically opposite your feelings, right? Because it's really just speaking the truth. And so if you choose to do it, and one of the things is we have free will, if you choose to push forward when you've gotten a warning, well, then you learn your lesson. If you listen to it, then you actually typically get a sign later that it was a good idea that you dodged the bullet. But it never speaks through emotion. So if you're noticing you're hearing a second voice and you're emotionally charged in some way, angry, hungry, whatever it is, see if you can take a moment to listen to what that voice is saying. It is saying the truth. You don't have to listen, but it will always speak the truth.
Well, you nailed that. You nailed that right up. What advice would you give someone who is seriously considering a career in mysticism?
Yeah. Whew. So many people are deciding to get careers in mysticism right now. It's I guess it's a booming market. It certainly had a boom in 2020 during the quarantine. We couldn't go anywhere and had captive audiences. Somebody who wants to get into the business, well, first of all, recognize it's a business. If you are in the process of practicing to develop your skills for the purpose of going into business, it is appropriate to give, what's the word I want to say, to barter for free sessions for the purpose of practice. And then as you begin to get good, it is appropriate to begin to ask for nominal fees. I'm not a really big fan about donation dialogues because it's a business. So business doesn't run off of donations unless you plan on being a not-for-profit company. Most psychics are not a not-for-profit company. Therefore, I need my money and I need my coin. But as I'm training, right, and I've been in this game now 22 years, but as I was training, it was freebies, nothing over $20. When I did start to charge, even because you need a name, you have to create a name for yourself before you can try to, dig in people's wallets. That's not what we do.
Right.
Those are legitimate, but I would say practice. You need a practice partner or a mentor. You can't do it by yourself because you're communicating with spirit. You have no way to validate what you're receiving. You have no way to learn how to let go of the material that you're receiving and just speak what you receive. You can't do that by yourself.
Wow.
Or a coach or a partner.
Beautiful. So that means that means you need to get a business plan for your mysticism business. I mean, well, you don't have to, but I mean, if you're trying to seek funding and you want to, get some government grants.
I mean, eventually, but funding certainly comes eventually. Most people are looking to get. This is not a job you can jump into with a tarot book. And
that's what I was going to say. That part too. For gifted people
this is
have the gift
to jump in with a tarot book and the booklet, because you'll be given the same reading to everybody, and that's just one card. That's not how tarot, for example, works. You really need practice to listen to your inner voice and communicate with your spirit guide. You have to connect with your spirit guide, and that's what a partner will help you do, because the information is not coming from you; it's coming through you. So. I've seen some. Every time I see somebody's a reader, I always go to their page. I follow so many readers because I like to see what my colleagues are doing in the market.
And what do you discover, or do you discover a lot of people on point, or some?
By and large, the message that I get when I watch a lot of other psychics and readers is, "Oh, okay, I belong in this arena." I'm always thinking somebody's gonna. Really put me to shame in some way or make me question my gifts. And by and large, it amplifies me by watching other psychics, even the fake ones. In fact, the fake ones emphasize me more because you can tell when somebody's an authentic reader. You can feel it.
Yeah, yeah. So and the reading consists of tarot cards, but it's also palms.
Oh yeah, man. You can read anything, to be honest. I mean, certainly I do also read palms, but you don't need any tools to read somebody. We've been reading people. We've been reading people since we were reading our parents to figure out how to get food and get changed, right?
So like you looking at me, you can read me. What do you need information? You need information. Okay, so that it could. Okay.
I could. I mean, it was very, for example, when we first got on the live, you were quite flustered. Your face was more red. You didn't hear about the sweat. Yeah, I'm saying. And so there was a movement that came off of you that was nervousness, but I just finished smoking the joint. I knew it didn't come from me. So when I say we read people all the time, it doesn't have to be a deep reading. It's just reading the room.
Reading the room, yeah. It's a beautiful thing. So your gifts make way for you. Our gifts makes way for us. Yeah. So what is there any time? What are some of the mistakes you made along the way? Obstacles you had to overcome?
So along the way, the biggest obstacle for me was trying to read from my day-to-day vibration, which means I wasn't going into trance. So I was doing readings, getting accurate information, but it felt very, I always felt stressed during a reading, and that is not the ideal way for any psychic to feel. You should not feel stressed. You should feel relaxed. There should be no expectation about giving anybody you don't have to worry about whether the information is true, because most of the time you don't even know the person. So you should get into a state that allows you to surrender. Hypnosis is very helpful for this. But we all can hypnotize ourselves. Any psychic can go into trance. I really don't recommend, going from your day-to-day hustle and bustle and jumping right into a reading. It doesn't work unless you're practiced. Now that I'm practiced, I can jump into trance anytime. But I was not reading from a quiet place inside. I was quiet inside, and so my readings for me, I mean, I still got business. I was able to, build a business and a brand later, of course. But initially, my readings weren't at where they are now, and I think that's it comes with practice and time.
Right. So the trance, that spiritual plane. Is anything special that it might be private, you might not want to share it, but is there any special scents, candles? Is it a special place in your home? Are you butt naked with oils all on your beautiful body? I mean, with the water dripping. Is it sex magic? What is it?
Sometimes I would say that in order, we all drop in the trance all the time. If I asked you to tell me about the most intense part of your day today, your mind already goes somewhere.
Right? My mind is there right now.
Once I, for myself or for a client, gets you into a space that causes you to go inward, now I'm able to see. I can see inside. Once I get you to a space where you're looking inward, I can follow you. Does that make sense? It opens a door for me to kind of go in and read. We can do that for ourselves as well. There's so many different ways we do it. A song can do it, like a favorite song does it. A song that got you through a breakup can drop you into trance. How many times you say, "Oh, this is my song"? That's a trance.
Yeah.
You've been hit by an emotional movement, right?
Yeah.
And now the door is open. In fact, many of us go to those songs so we can find lessons that we learned during that period of time. It's a way to search. It's time travel for real.
Yeah. I like when I go to my Parliament music, or even when Shaka does "Whoa, whoa, whoa." To me, that's like chanting.
Yeah.
And I can imagine going around in a circle.
When I hear anything from Kelly Price's first album, I'm like, oh, my first heartbreak. Like that first album takes me there. It's 1998 all over again, and I'm in hell. And she just sings my soul out from hell, like woo, every time. So I'm not there now, but every time I need to remember how far I've come, I go to Kelly Price's first album.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Isn't that something? That's amazing. Were you always, and I think I asked this before, but were you always psychic or?
We're all psychic. Babies are even more psychic than adults. But as we learn how to function in day-to-day mundane reality, making the bed, checking the clock, going to the bathroom, all that type of stuff, it gets loud. Life gets loud, and we typically lose it.
So that's what I was going. Yeah. So do we lose it?
We don't lose it. It just goes quiet. It's on the back burner. It's in the.
But it's still there.
It's with you.
But we have to. I don't know. I know something about the third eye, and they back when I was trying to research all of this stuff because I wanted to know. They were saying there were some exercises where you focused on the red thing, and anyway, but yeah, so it works, and I don't know why, but I didn't stay with it.
and this is what I have found that by and large frustrates so many people. Not everybody can get comfortable doing things the same way. So as far as meditation is concerned, the first thing you're going to do is get rid of false sleep. If meditation for you means sitting still, and that's what you're guiding me through, I'm falling asleep. Don't ask me anything you said. I'm tuning it out. Yeah. That doesn't help me to drop into trance. What helps me to get into a meditative state or a quiet state is actually some physical activity, running, elliptical machine, washing dishes, cleaning the house, something that gets me in my body and out of my head. So I have to get in my body. And there are a lot of people who dissociate from their bodies, right? They're in an uncomfortable position even when they're sitting, and it's too annoying to even change the position, so they stay and wait until their leg goes to sleep. Like, people like that shouldn't be doing sitting still positions to get into trance because they're already cerebral. They're already in their head. So their head is too loud. Their mind is too loud. They have to do things to get in their body so their mind and their spirit can travel. And oftentimes we're doing it, that's because yoga and all these other, what's the word I want to say?
Cardio? Oh, no.
Gentrified East Asian conversations, everybody's doing the same shit and it's boring.
Yeah. So you gotta loosen it out. You gotta get up and move, get the blood going, and find yours.
And this is why, once again, it always comes back to solitude.
For me, it's that early 5 a.m, 4 a.m walk.
I just wrote about that. I was saying that's the best time for men to have sex in the autumn. So
is that why I'm at that point during that time?
There's a couple reasons for this.
It's like, why?
There's a couple reasons why you're horny in the morning. One is that your men's testosterone spikes in the morning. But the second piece is that in the autumn, the most highest vibration for men is between 3 and 5 a.m. and also 5 to 7, although it may be a little bit more hard for you to come or concentrate between 5 and 6. But you'll notice if you start having some sensational movement with you or your partner, that it's very easy for you to kind of go there, especially during 3 to 5 in the autumn season, which lasts we're in.
Until when? Oh, until December?
Well, technically, according to the agricultural calendar, winter begins this week, but you can still work with these hours. Now the hours will actually kind of be changing to 3 to 5 p.m. And then 5 to 7.
Oh, so I'm going to be feeling it during those periods of time.
A little bit more. It's going to start getting darker earlier. So you'll notice that the darker periods are going to allow you to more easily get into the sensate focus of your body. Unlike at other times of the year. Summertime, you're probably horny all the time. Like this because men's juices vibrate to the season. So when it's hot outside, so are men. Men are hot inside. And you notice in the springtime, everybody talks about it online, Yeah. The jing, or we call it jing in Asian medicine, or the juice in men's balls really starts to wake up around March, April, just like the sap in the trees.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So tell me more. I didn't know. So that part, that's that's sexual. So that's part of it. Sex.
Part of what?
The healing. I mean, medium.
Well,
Or is that another? Aspect of what you do?
oh well, I mean, well, as a doctor of Chinese fertility medicine, I mean,
Oh yeah. Okay.
the way
Duh.
babies get accepted,
So sex is there's magic in it. There is some magic in sex too, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We share our essences, bodily fluids. They say the elixir of sex in Chinese medicine is spit. And in fact, it's not spit; it's spittle. It's the juicier, more thick kind of spit that creates bubbles when you are, actively engaging with your partner, and it allow.
So is it important to get to know them first before you actively involve, or is it? I mean, I've had it where the sexual connection was the bomb, but then non-sexual was like, no, bye, we'll see each other again.
This is the thing to understand. Sexual connection is animalistic. It has nothing to do with how much somebody earns or what kind of car they drive.
Okay.
It is a natural response to somebody. I often notice it like at the gym when somebody will catch my attention and then all of a sudden I'm like stumbling. That's how you know somebody's natural magnetism has grabbed your body. Because now you're like not able to focus, concentrate. Your face is blushing, underarms might be itching, like uncomfortably. Like you're starting to have a visceral response to somebody. That has nothing to do with whether they're a family person or even have
or anything. Well, it keeps happening every time I go to the grocery store. There's a young man. I think the same thing's happening to him.
Well, how do you know?
Because he's always googly eyes when he sees me. Hi. And so am I supposed to say something to him?
Why not? You can say hello. Do you speak?
I did speak to him one time early on, and he told me, he coaches basketball and blah, blah, blah.
Oh. So first of all, if you had a conversation like that and they're telling you personal aspects about their lives, you're in there. Yeah.
So he's just waiting on me, probably, to make.
Well, if nobody's making a move, and y'all both.
Yeah, somebody's got to make a move. But yeah, so you tell me, because I will not make the move. I miss out all the time. It's sad. Help me. Help me, sir. Give me some advice. No, stop.
I'll say this. I have found by and large when it comes to dating, the key is being able to ask for what we want.
Direct?
Ask for what you want when you have your clothes on. How the hell are you going to ask for what you want when you butt ball naked? Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So asking for what you want, and I do this because I don't listen. I'm not worried about the outcome. I know what I like. I know what I want. And I'm also an introvert. But if I'm in a comfortable space, or if I can segue us to a comfortable space, usually away from a crowd, I can't stand an audience.
Yeah.
I can say exactly what's on my mind. But the way to do it is to make an offer. I feel like that's the key, right? It's just an offer, an invitation.
Yeah. Hey, would you like to come over for some coffee?
Well, first of all, if you're coming over for the first date, we're fucked. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to do explicit?
Yeah.
To me, the first date doesn't happen at home. If it happens at home, don't wear any underwear. For the first date, don't even wear underwear. Don't even wear.
Because we have high, I found that out too. I thought it was something wrong with me. Then I read that Capricorns have high sex drives. Did you hear that?
All the signs that have horns are the horniest, actually. It's Aries, Taurus, and I can attest to these two. Capricorn, I can attest to that one too. They're in Western astrology. Those are the three horniest.
It was a monster. Trust me. So I abstained for many years, and then that's how I gained all the weight because food became the substitute. But then
gotta go out delayed. What are you waiting on?
But then when I got back decided to get back, it was like I had unleashed the beast. So I don't know.
What season was it that you got back into the game? What season was it?
This was last year. It's only been a year.
What season?
Oh.
What month?
It was in the summertime.
That's why. It's really, the desire factor for us is really intense in summertime. That's why a lot of people by August are having a love hangover, regretful. It doesn't have to be that way. The key is pacing ourselves. We have to have a little bit of pacing in the summertime because it's very easy, especially for men, to just see red and to really kind of go off the deep end. In fact, unless I'm dating somebody, like already, I don't date. I will have sex, but I don't date in the summertime because the emotional energy is very, very high. It's hard for people to get a relationship off the ground in the summer.
Right.
It's okay to go deeper in the summertime with somebody you're already in relationship with, but it can be very hard to get it off the ground. Very challenging. The universe is not prone to silence or listening or intimacy. Unless you're already with somebody, it's prone to immediate gratification. It's prone to being all over the place and scattered. It's prone to testing the waters and exploring. It's not really for creating a home from scratch.
And then that comes into play in fall or winter?
Right. The seasons where we have to come closer together.
Wow.
The season where the sun is not shining at such a bright intensity that we just can't think about anything except what we're going to be doing next, right? How to be outside again, what events coming up next, right? That all happens in the summertime. The fall has more events, but they're more congregational. We're getting together with friends. We're meeting people. We're mixing, we're mingling. We're setting our calendars. We're trying to adjust to the light change and the temperature change, right?
Yeah.
We're coming together. We're pulled apart in summer. We're being pulled apart. We say that the chi is scattered.
That's amazing. I mean, you're on point with that.
Isn't that interesting?
That explains a lot. So, because my friend, she always jokes. She always says, "Get ready, the summer, the winter loves are coming to move in." So, she says every year when the seasons change. You know.
That's why they call it cuffing season. I mean, it's really a play on the hibernation dialogue.
And then once the seasons change, they go. And then you're off to the races again.
Well, every relationship has stages, so it's appropriate for a relationship to change each season. Sometimes the person leaves with the change, but
and then some like me, like you, I'm not looking for a relationship.
I'm open to a relationship. I mean,
I am too, but I think it's more stress relieving for me, and I'm trying to be. How do you say? You could tell I'm being censored because I have a foul mouth. Okay, trust me. You don't even want to know. But okay. So what are some of the goals you've achieved? Just maybe a couple of goals you have achieved that you probably didn't think you would, or
in 2020 when I started going live on Facebook and started charging my audiences for private sessions, I made enough money for PayPal to out me to the IRS and then to incorporate myself as a business. So I would say that that's a success because it represented to me that psychics can make money to pay their bills, and we can offer a service to the community at large. I really feel like for those of us who are drawn into this direction, it's a blessing to know that. And so as many people as I can share that bit of information, you can earn a living off of this work. That's been a huge success for me.
Beautiful. And you help people. I guess there's stories of people.
Too many to even remember of people who have said, and every now and again I'll post them on my Facebook stories, of people who said, you said this and this is exactly how it played out. You said this, or you spoke to my loved one, and then I stumbled across the thing they were mentioning. I didn't remember it at the time, but boom, a day later it showed up, and so my faith has been renewed through this book.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and it's like reciprocity. And now you have a podcast.
I do. It's called Hotline the Podcast by Love 911 Tarot. It's on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. And it is, I'm sharing ancient sexual secrets and some tidbits behind the scenes of spirituality. So you can try with yourself or a partner, or and spirituality dialogue, such as we've been having here about how to work on things and develop yourself.
Yeah, I actually this morning I actually put my hands on his hands to try to see if I could feel something, because I was listening to it yesterday. I'm like, okay, I need
The palmistry of the start.
And so I don't know if I felt something, but I didn't know enough about it to know what I was looking for. But
you gotta listen to the episode, friend. There's 3 locations on the hand that.
Yeah, I listened to that episode and yesterday, but I didn't. I need to study it. So, and I didn't plan. This was an impromptu this morning, and I didn't plan it. But then I was laying there. I was like, let me see what happens if I put my hand on the hand.
Yeah, well, like I said in the podcast, start with the thumb. The thumb is the primary way that we read. In fact, in Romanian palmistry, they only read the thumb. So that's how important the thumb is in palmistry, and I do talk on the podcast about it.
Yeah, the thumb.
I like that. Did you understand the piece about the angle of generosity? How far does your thumb come away from?
I was just listening to where you were saying how many the circle of friends you have, and you were saying something about the base.
Oh, I said that on the circle of friends piece. I think I said that on Facebook. Or I shared that somewhere. Anyway.
Well, on here you were saying, I think you were saying something about the distance between this and...
No, your circle of friends is actually shown at the bottom section of your pinky.
Oh, my pinky, okay.
Yeah, bottom section of your pinky here.
And I don't have that many. Oh, right here.
Yep, just the bottom, boom, this section here. If it's wide, if it's the biggest on your hand, and that means you probably have a larger circle of friends. As you can see, mine's kind of medium, but it's kind of small. It's not the longest. It's kind of evenly spaced. A lot of people know me, but I tend to keep my circle small. So.
What is mine? Is mine big or small? Can you see mine?
Yours is significantly small, and also too, it looks like you get flustered if you have too much stuff on your calendar. So I would keep it light if I were you.
Oh, okay, you can tell. Okay.
Is that true?
Yeah. I just want to scream.
Too much on your head. I can see that. This portion of your pinky is very much shortened and pink. So if it gets too full, it would be uncomfortable, right? Like, let's say if you cut the blood circulation off here, that means if it gets too full, or if your schedule gets too full, you can't process. And then you look like you rush and fumble stuff, and that looks uncomfortable for you.
Yeah. Glad you told me that. I didn't know that. Okay, but anyway, but the podcast. So everybody, please tune in, support. It's on all the major platforms, and I love the little artwork with the little phone. Yeah. And sex. I've been following you for a while, so I can just say it's intimate, it's hot. It's everything, so talk about that. How did you, because you didn't come into that. I mean, I'm sure it was a process of coming to the comfort zone or just coming. Yeah, how did you in that direction?
I would probably say that I chose to do this angle of the podcast because I see when it comes to Chinese medicine and acupuncture, a lot of people are saying the same shit. It's boring as hell to me. If everybody's saying the same thing, everybody's saying nothing, right? Yeah. So as far as I was concerned, I am treating I didn't even want to work with fertility patients, I promise you, because I found them to be too aggressive. They're really intense. They have to get pregnant now. The clock is ticking, yada, yada, yada. I just want to scream. And then that's who started coming to me after I helped a couple people conceive naturally, but surprisingly, it's actually through helping a patient relax that nature can finally have the floor, for God's sake, right? So, but in the process, I learned a number of different things that just aren't taught in school, that are also part of Chinese medical philosophy. And so, when we're talking about getting pregnant, we're talking about how to get pregnant, right?
Okay.
And so I just figured, why not have a conversation about this? My friends say I talk about sex all the time, but I think that sex is natural. I talk about sex, in certain circles very blatantly and very unabashedly. You're going to see, especially in next week's episode, which I'm kind of nervous about, the episode's entitled "How to Train Your Nipples."
Oh, wow.
So
is that a service you offer too? Donations.
well, via the podcast, but I'm sure there'll be a class coming eventually. I was telling a friend of mine, like, with some of the material that's already lined up and scheduled to be released, because I pre-record my questions. I'm probably going to have to go on camera, and work with the dildo at some point, because it's one thing to talk about it, but as you saw with palmistry, like showing you something, a little bit different. And so, I'm sure that there's definitely going to be some coursework coming for grown-ups, but this is a grown folks conversation, and everybody's fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. It's a beautiful thing when
having sex to get pregnant, and people are coming to me in my professional capacity to talk about getting pregnant. But we're going to have a conversation about getting pregnant or having fun, because my religion teacher in 9th grade said if God didn't make sex good, nobody would have it. And I said, you know what, sis?
she nailed that one right.
You got a point.
Yes, she did. Yes, she nailed that one.
She was a former nun, but she left the convent. And I don't blame her.
I don't blame her either. So, I think it's a beautiful thing. Sex. It's
what people do every day.
Every day, and it's good. And a lot of people have questions. And a lot of people do it and don't know how to do it, and don't know what they're doing.
After a certain stage, we stop having sex education. Unless you come across something on Netflix or Hulu and you have the time. Who has an hour? Nobody has an hour to watch a documentary on sex and sexuality. And that's why my podcasts are shorter. Tidbits, and then the goal is hopefully go out and play, go out and try some of the tips and tricks that I'm telling you. Test into it and see. That's the essence of any scientific medicine.
Yeah, and the acupuncture. So now we can book sessions with you, or to get acupuncture. That's the little needles. Yeah, well,
is that Chinese medicine? So I don't just do acupuncture, but yes, I also am a doctor of acupuncture. I do treat patients in the Baltimore area. I'm working at 3 locations, and so you can book me. It's right on the link in my bio at Love 911 Tarot.
Right. So that's right, because it's 2 facilities. It's 3. I knew 1 facility, but you said 3.
Yeah, there's one in the Remington area of Baltimore. There's one in Canton. And there's one in Pikesville.
Okay, good. And we can just come in there.
You just book right online and come through. Most insurances are accepted, so I'm an in-network provider.
So for a person like me, would it be to anxiety relief, or is there some goal I would,
So a lot of people come to acupuncture with pain diagnoses, right, or issues. They don't diagnose themselves, but issues that are painful, either physical or emotional. Or they're coming with a goal in mind. Something has been around for a long time. I'm curious how it can be different. I want my body to move a certain way. I'm curious how it can be different. I'm trying to get pregnant. I'm curious how I can achieve that, right? Ultimately, too, even if people are doing well, and this is the thing to understand, we still recommend people get treatment, right, which is just an alignment every season. So once a season, right? We're entering winter, it's appropriate to be seen. If you've not been seen if you have an acupuncturist, that would be the time to see them, like when the season changes. So now, right?
So you can readjust, because we're readjusting.
We eat differently, we dress differently, our bodies talk to us differently. People are already starting to get sick, which tells me that they're still moving according to a previous season's temperature. The climate has changed. A cousin of mine said the other night, why do you have that coat on? It's 50 degrees out. And I said, yes, but the temperature of the wind has shifted. The wind is hitting colder than it was hitting in August. It's not the same wind.
Definitely not.
She actually was getting over a cold. And she had a flimsy leather moto jacket. I understand you have an outfit you want to wear to the function. Put a coat over it until you get inside.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the fruits. The fruits of your labor.
Okay.
What do you do in your downtime? Rest and relaxation. And do you cook? And what would you consider is your best dish?
I can cook. I don't like to cook. And yet every time I cook, my family asks me, make that again, make more of that. I make a really good vanilla bean mousse cheesecake, and it has real vanilla bean seeds in it. And it has, I use Nilla wafer instead of graham crackers. And this year I'm going to be making it with a raspberry drizzle. So that's going to be really fun.
Wow.
I do cook. I mostly do meal prep these days now that I am kind of back on the wagon of eating in a routine way, a responsible way.
In the gym.
I love pastries, man. Anything with icing, cinnamon buns, anything frosted. Period.
Oh my goodness. So you're muscular.
I have some love handles, but I mean,
you stay at the gym? I mean, because you said meal prep, I'm like, oh, so you must be a gym rat.
I think I work out regularly. I'm certainly not competing for any titles, but my trainers are former bodybuilders, and so they've given me the tools, and I go how far I want to go, depending on the year. Some years I really feel like it. Some years I say, whatever. This year, I feel like it. I made a declaration at 40 that I'd like to be in my best body moving forward, just so that I can mitigate any unnecessary suffering.
Yes, that was my aim to it, and I had got with the personal trainer and decided to give the resources to him, and the miracle just started to drop off, feel better, and everything. The downside about that when you start living a clean eating life, if you decide to go back to the stuff, your body's like, what the fuck are you doing? What is going on? What is this shit you wanted in me?
That's a good thing, right? It becomes a treat, and it becomes, you recognize when you stepped off away from like a schedule, and it's a problem to step off the schedule from time to time. You have to enjoy life. The key is to have something to come back to hold you in place. And that's why I would say so much that people don't understand how important it is to have a daily rhythm. If you don't have a daily rhythm, you don't have a plan. And if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So
daily rhythm. Is that a schedule?
No. The daily rhythm means what is something you have to have a part of your day that only you can do for you. That's a daily rhythm. For me, regardless of what kind of work I have lined up for the day, I absolutely must have at least an hour of time when I wake up that I don't have to be anything. I don't have to talk. I don't have any sounds. I'm just awake. And I typically, do wake and bake. So I'm just awake and I'm just receiving for like an hour. I'm just receiving. I have really good Bluetooth lighting. So it's like I put on my blue light very low, just enough to see around the room, right? If I need to move around, but I'm just receiving. So that's what I do every day.
Oh, so my daily rhythm is getting up at 4 a.m. and walking. That's my daily rhythm. And then sometimes I like to go out in the middle of the day when the sun is at the height so I can walk in the sun.
And the benefit of having a daily rhythm is that life is going to throw you curveballs. It's going to throw you, you're going to have injury, trauma, shock. It's inevitable. But we know how hard something has truly hit us if we stop doing our daily rhythm. Does that make sense? The daily rhythm becomes a barometer for how well we're doing, whether or not we're functioning. So one of my interns' patients said that for her, the daily rhythm was making the bed. So that's how you know that on a day when you say, man, I feel like shit, life has really got its foot on my neck. I don't know if I'm doing so well. The question from us ends up being, have you made your bed? Right? Yeah. If you've made your bed, you're actually doing okay. Mm-hmm. Because there's something that you know that holds you grounded is still getting done. You may not be at your best, but you at least could do. You have the energy for that, and that means you're thriving. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense.
Hugely powerful and important.
And because when you talk about the seasons changing and all that and how it affects us, yeah, that explains why last month, whatever, I got off the bandwagon, started eating all kinds of stuff. I mean, baby, let me tell you something. I don't know if we have Wegmans up there, but we have Wegmans, and I go to the seafood department and they have the fresh lobster claw meat that's cooked, and I get that, and I make me some lobster mac and cheese, but not the little mac thing. I got the, all the little different kinds of pastas. But they've been saying I had no business with it, but I hooked it. It was thebomb.com.
And the lobster mac and cheese was medicine. You were having
I felt so good. But then 24 hours later, I get on the scale. I said, oh no, I get out there and walk 3 laps. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like, every now and then you need that comfort food. But now I know why I started to crave it, because the seasons was changing. And so now that I know that, I'm gonna be a little bit more cautious and more aware of my actions, because I'm still trying to lose. I have goals. So tell me, what can you tell me about Capricorns and yourself?
Yeah. So I mean, the Capricorn life theme is that of achievement. So Capricorns all have some kind of a pull toward feeling like they need a purpose in their life and that they have like a destiny. So typically Capricorn is challenged by asking themselves, am I living up to my highest potential? And they have to be honest with themselves about what kind of lifestyle they want to live. And they also have to give themselves permission to be immune to what other people say about them. The Capricorn is extremely vulnerable to people's opinions. They may play it off, but they are extremely vulnerable. It typically comes through some kind of a wound that happens when they're younger, where they're evaluated either by their peers, usually by their peers, in a way that is insulting in some way. While other people may not necessarily think it's a big deal, it typically has a gnawing kind of a feeling. It either comes from an authority figure or their colleagues at some stage that makes them feel inadequate. And that actually is a beneficial gift that Capricorn has to learn to become immune to any dialogue of inadequacy, because it's a lie. Everybody is enough for their life path. They're enough for their life path. The key is not worrying about other people's path or the path that other people have tried to pave for you. That's the challenge. That's the only time Capricorn comes under vulnerable scrutiny and other people can put their foot on their neck. Only when you're trying to fit in and follow somebody else's path for yourself. So it's bigger than just, Capricorn's cold, Capricorn's mean, Capricorn's a loner, Capricorn's a snob. It's so much deeper than that. And also Capricorn really needs to have a solid home life, because they have to be able to turn away from what the public is saying about them. Every Capricorn, I don't care if they're 5 years old or 50 years old, comes into contact with their reputation somehow, either through rumors or through being on a stage or a platform. They have to be evaluated. They have to do their living work in front of an audience, even if it doesn't even have to be a big audience.
Yeah, like I'm in show business, but Sade, she to me is like the epitome of a Capricorn. I mean, she gets gone. She's gone. You don't see her nowhere, and then she comes back with her album and drops this album. What I've been working on. I love it. I love it. She goes on the tour and bye. Till next time. I'm like, wow. But then you look at Mary J. Blige, Capricorn.
Well, and now Mary's career has, especially her music career, has become a bit of a burden to her. I can feel it. I don't know if anybody else can feel it.
Yeah.
said after her marriage and that, alimony debacle, that she had to go back to work. I mean, imagine if you're creating work and you're loving sharing your story, but then having to go on a tour. I mean, so there's some people who can't manage a full tour because it's very intense. It killed Michael Jackson, So for her to have to go back on tour, imagine her relationship with her music right now.
Yeah, and then on top of that, she still has to go through the process of that grieving and trying to let that go.
In front of an audience. You're absolutely right. In front of an audience. Imagine.
But she looks good doing it. I mean, her people make her look good.
That's another interesting caveat of Capricorn is Capricorns look radiant while they are in the
suffering. Yeah. People think we don't hurt.
I shit you not. Every time, and I've been fired from a million jobs, and I work as a professor at a university. I work at a practice. I mean, I've been fired at that level already before. So I've had things that would humiliate most people. It's water off my back at this point. To get fired is like, oh, okay, we back here again. Like I've started over so many times that I just do me now.
Yeah, it's like, okay, next chapter.
I'm gonna take it a little bit anyway. Yes, if it don't work, you'll fire me. Like, yeah. So whatever. Like, I'm just myself. And I think I would say that I'm mastering this life lesson. And any Capricorn who is learning how to just roll with the punches, the valleys and the peaks and the valleys. You think about a mountain goat. They spend a lot of their time at the height of a mountain in solitude, but it takes a lot of work to get there. Not every animal can follow them up that mountain, period.
Yeah.
Don't have what it takes, because the mountains are dangerous and treacherous, and some of those steps are really, really thin. You have to lean the right way. So Capricorn learns flexibility, and by the time people really get to celebrate Capricorn, it looks like they've been on top the whole time, and that's not the case. It's typically 7 years behind the scenes that gets and tons of rejection, insulting comments, self-talk that's negative. They have to fight through so much to get to where you can even see.
Yeah, that brain, yeah, that part, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You inspire me. You definitely inspire me. Yeah, in more ways than one.
I want to thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much.
Please have me on again. It's great work. I'm glad to see you stepping in the ring and doing this.
Yeah, they told me that you should do it, so I said, okay, let me try it. And I like it. I'm nervous as hell, but yeah. But no, I really appreciate you, Dexter. You are the man with the plan, and I will be booking your services very soon. So, and
no problem.
Enjoy. And I want them glasses too.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to tune in for another exciting and fun-filled episode. You do not want to miss it. Follow me on Instagram at NoneOtherThan Nigel. Like and subscribe on Facebook. Interested in being a guest on our show? Or have a topic or show idea in mind for me to consider? Just head over to NoneOtherThanNigel.com.